What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sailor Turn Gamer, and we are back in the building, coming at you with another Dauntless video. In today's Dauntless video, we're talking about our Rollin Stone build. Yes, that's right. Poppa was a Rollin Stone, and we're chunking out plenty of protection and plenty of team support, and that's what this build is about. So, if you are a repeater player and you want to play the game in a different way, and you really like playing the team support style, then this is for you. So we're going to hop into a breakdown, and then following the breakdown, we're going to be rolling into some footage, and you guys can see how the build performs in action. So stick around for the whole thing, and if you enjoy any parts of the video, be sure to give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Alright, now let's get into the breakdown, shall we? Okay, so let's talk about the perk summary first. You guys see that we're rocking a lot of sixes here, right? We got +6 Etheric Attunement, Conduit, Evasion, Evasive Fury, Molten, and then we got a +3 Fleet Footed. So, why do we choose what we chose as we break down this build? Well, the purpose of this build, we already talked about it, is team support. And when it comes to team support, you can decide on how you want to do that. Do you want to do that by rezzing your team and giving them a lot of health? Do you want to do that by giving them shields? How do you want to be able to support the team? Well, I chose attack speed and movement speed. So the goal of this build was simple. It was to maximize the amount of attack speed and movement speed you can get, as well as maximizing however much attack speed and movement speed you can give your teammates. And you may be wondering, well, how are you going to do that without taking damage? Well, this is where our repeaters come into play, and this is what we call the Rollin Stone build. To talk about that first, your Blaze Barrel, this is what we're using, but you can use pretty much anything you want to use. Your Salvos Chambers, what we are rocking, and the reason why we're rocking that is because the Tri-Burst is just great. Let's go on to the Captain Script. This plays a big part in our build and the team support status situation that we got going on here. Every time we activate an empowered version of your Captain Scripts, you're going to get 15% increased damage and attack speed. So that, we're going to have to start counting these up, by the way. So that's 15%, right, for attack and movement speed. Extraction Catalyst. We're going with this particular mod because your ability cooldowns get reduced by 2 seconds when you dodge through behemoth attacks. Well, how are you going to be able to dodge through attacks? That's where that +6 evasion comes in. Of course, you can naturally dodge, but hey, why not make that a little bit easier? You can stay in the fray a lot longer with the security blanket of not only Stoneheart Prism, which we'll talk about in a second, but with the +6 evasion, it's going to allow you to really stay in the thick of things. Now, Stoneheart Prism, this is where that Rollin Stone comes into play. So, Stoneheart Prism, those of you that don't know, what it does basically is dealing damage. It gives you a chance to get a stacking health shield, and it's 40 health shields is how it stacks. So with the repeaters, of course, you can always stay back in the fray and get a huge shield, but we want to stay up close and vicious. So with your defensive shield that you can get, which can get pretty insane depending on what behemoth you fight, paired up with your evasion, paired up with your extraction catalyst, is what's going to not only allow you to use your abilities quite often, but it's going to keep you safe. Why do you want to be safe? Because you want to be able to throw down your buffs as often as possible without having to take any damage or minimize the amount of damage that you're taking, which is going to allow you to be in the fray, which is going to allow you to constantly keep up your empowered state when you reload. So that is why this Stoneheart Prism with the combination of extraction catalyst is great. As you see, we got Evasive Fury and Evasive on that, but let's talk about the rest of this stuff, right? So we got our Lights Crown, rocking the, it comes with 3 Conduit, and then we rocking the +3 Molten. We want to get +6 Molten, which is why we have that. The reason why is because of the cooldown. If we can consistently throw those Moltens out, you actually get movement and attack speed for getting those little Molten pickups. So the faster we can throw those down, we can throw down a lot and continually give our teammates even more of a boost. Evasive Fury, we talked about dodging already. So you have a big chance at dodging because we talked about what evasion does. So this is where that Evasive Fury comes into play. 25% attack speed for 16 seconds after dodging. That only affects us, but hey, the more and faster you attack, the faster your reload is. The more you attack, the more you can put damage downfield, even though you don't have significant damage boosters. Attack speed does a lot. Now, let's move on to one of my favorite combinations of the bunch as we look at Etheric Attunement. That's at the top right there, and we're getting that from a couple locations. Our Shrike Zeal, we got +3 Etheric Attunement on that. And then our Draskell Glees, we have +3 etheric attunement on that. And we did that to get that +6, one of my favorite perks in the game, along with Conduit and Molten. And I'm really a team support guy, so I love these perks. But when we look at etheric attunement, you got your maximum +66% lantern charge from attacks. Why do you want that? Because the more attacks you do, you already have a pretty high lantern charge from your attacks, so you're consistently getting your lantern charge up. And when you actually activate your hold ability, this is where Conduit kicks into play, you're going to get an additional 25% attack speed. So remember the attack speed that we're talking about, this affects you and your Slayers. So if you proc your Conduit ability, 25% for your team, right? We'll just talk about the team. And then you throw down your throwable, that's 15%. So now we're up to 40% attack speed for your team, right? And then to cap that off, if you activate your Lantern, Strike Zeal, that hold ability that activated when you got Conduit plus your Lantern, we're going with Strike Zeal, which is going to grant nearby Slayers 15% increased movement speed and attack speed. So you're already at 40%. Now we're at 55% for your teammates. Not to mention yourself, you're at 55%, but whoa, if you dodge through an attack and you get all of this stuff to activate at one time, which it can, you go from 55% all the way up to 80% attack speed, which is insane. And what this means is that even if it doesn't activate at the same time, your attack speed is going to consistently be higher than the normal state. And again, the more you attack, the more that lantern charge goes up. So with this build, you can typically and consistently have your lantern charge activated at all times. So essentially, you're always going to have a 15% movement speed and attack speed advantage. Not to mention that dodging, this is where the dodging comes into play again. Once you dodge, you're going to be able to have another little burst of movement speed, 20% for 3 seconds. It's only 3 seconds. But hey, if you want to move around real quick and be able to finesse your way through the battlefield, then this is the way to go. So this build is all about moving, all about buffing your squad and staying alive using Stoneheart Prism. Yes, we typically don't put our guns away. We keep them out. We keep them pointed down target, downfield. And if we gotta move, we got movement speed. And if we need to roll, we gotta roll. And once we roll, we got even more movement speed because we're a Rolling Stone, baby. So if you guys enjoyed the build, be sure to give it a like and a share. Again, guys, you guys know the deal. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys want to stay on from this point forward, we will be hopping into some fresh gameplay and you guys can check out the build in action. So if that's something that you guys want to do, stand by. We are going to probably start a shock patrol. Sure, why not? We're going to start a shock patrol and we are going to kick into that as soon as that gets into gear. So stand by for that. So at this particular moment, I'm going to break down to you guys exactly how this hunt is going to go, so everyone can be familiar and on the same page as to how the build works in action. So be sure to stand by for that. As we go through, of course, I love to pick up any and each of these materials. You never know when you need them. They're always clutch. But the beauty of this build is that with the +3 fleet-footed, and we're fighting Skarn, but the beauty of this build is with the +3 fleet-footed, we could do things like this. You see the speed boost? It's really nice for getting around. And this is actually a beautiful way to show off the Stonefall. So I'll break it down as we can. So we get our empowered. You want to use your tri-burst often so you get your full. As soon as you get your full charge, which we have it, we got our Moon River activated. Once our teammates get over here, throwing up another flare. Okay, once our teammates get over here, we can keep this up. Oh, that's how you do it, baby. You just roll out. It's easy on the repeaters because you don't use your stamina, so you can just roll out of that. I know you can throw a concussion grenade. If you didn't know, you guys can throw a concussion grenade on that. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But now we're good. We got our empower, right? You want to pop your tri-burst, throw in your buff, and watch the speed. Just look at the speed. It's okay to roll, because when you do roll, you get a speed boost. And you see we already got our lantern charge again. So it's just a matter of maintaining what you already have. You want to try to save your Triburst until after you pop your lantern ability again, because you don't want to waste it. You really don't want to waste it. And what I mean by wasted is that for using your Triburst, you get a huge chunk of energy back, and it comes into play a lot, right? So you don't want to use your Triburst while you haven't used your lantern charge, or you're going to be missing out on energy. So you see we constantly have this plus 15. You essentially always have that plus 15. See, we got hit. We didn't dodge roll properly, but it's okay because we got a huge shield. You want to stay around your teammates too, because again, we are using Strike Zeal. So staying around your teammates is only going to benefit them, and it's going to allow them to attack faster. It's okay. Monster gets enraged. You guys go down. You got a huge shield, remember? 832 shield. And this thing can get high, really, really high, depending on who you're facing. It just so happened that we're facing the Skarn, and he's a really good example to show how the shield works. So it's a pretty good deal, right? We still have our Moon Reaver up, and we just got it again. Not to mention the Moltons that's been dropping this whole time. You want to consistently stay around your teammates. I can't stress that enough. As much as you want to get your shots down, it's also important that your teammates get that attack speed. So as you guys see, that is pretty much how the build operates. It's funny because even though it's about speed, it's also about being aware of the battlefield, knowing when to dodge, and it's okay because you do have evasion, but you just want to remember to stay around your teammates at all times, guys. Staying around your teammates is the most important thing with this build because it is a support build. And just know it's okay to roll, because we are Rollin Stone. So, those of you that made it to this point, I just say thank you. Be sure to stay tuned for all things Sailor Turn Gamer. We got a news update for Dauntless coming out a little bit later today, so you can expect that as well. And until then, this sailor will be out in the open ocean. Peace.